And we are a go. Hey, it's your boy protagonist JWa with Gardening with JWa. And it has been a super long time, but I am back with a vengeance. Pretty much, I've been spending a lot of my extra energy. Let me get over here. Spending a lot of my extra energy focusing on exercise and work. I've been neglecting my yard. So now I am going to have to pay the price for it. So this is my citrus row. The kumquat's done really well. What you saw was the Indian green jujube fruit, but we're going to talk about this guy a little bit later. But as far as citrus goes, just to kind of give you a high level, citrus is looking pretty good. It's kind of hard to see because they're all, hidden in there. But there are a decent amount of citrus. You also have citrus right there. Citrus right there. Citrus right here. Citrus all along here. All up there. So you got a lot of citrus. Really nice. But where my problem comes in, hey Kylo, is look at that. The grass is taking over. And you might say to yourself, well, that doesn't look too bad. It's bad. The grass took over really, really bad. I neglected my gardening duties. So this actually part isn't too bad, terrible. So I'm starting on the worst part and I'm kind of working my way in. There's Dean. Here, let me try to get off. Oh, and the white stuff is cow and clay. A little sun protectant here. Let me walk through. Okay, so here we're on the right side of my yard. Obviously, Kishu mandarin's got some fruit on it. This is probably his third year. It's dropped some fruit too, but nothing I'm super concerned about. So if I give you this view, or this profile right here, you can see a lot of growth. So here's effectively the problem. Grass took over, and trees and some of the stuff kind of got out of whack. And I think what I'll do is I'll do this by piece. So obviously, Dean, get out of the way. Sorry, Dean's in the way. So obviously I have this little citrus nook that I planted that I did a video about not too long ago. And you'll see that I have this moringa right here. And you also see that I have this Mexican sunflower doing really good. This moringa and this Mexican sunflower have kind of created this microclimate for this citrus and then these citruses here. So here's the rub. In light of my inability to keep control of the grass, I decided to do some housekeeping, which means I'm gonna cull some trees, i.e. I'm gonna chop them down. And some of the trees were there for an experiment. Some of the trees were there, or plants, as you can see in this case, were there to act as, a nurturer while this tree establishes. And look at Dean crawling back in there, a little savage. So this video, these next couple of videos are going to be kind of weird because it's effectively going to be me not planting trees, but instead talking about how I'm going to kill them. So yeah, it's going to get a little sus. So let me work my way down over here. These guys are doing really well. This is the cocktail. What I just passed was the sweet lime. And this right here, oh dude, this is actually pretty freaking crazy. I got a sport on my car navel orange. Now, I saw a video about this one guy, I think it was like Box Bear Farms or whatever, and he had a sport, and the fruit from the sport were like super red compared to the fruit from the regular part of the tree. So that's gonna be pretty cool. This thing keeps coming back. I actually like butchered it again. I got to do a better job killing trees. That's a pomegranate. So right here is my Suriname cherry, which I don't think I have any cherries on, but it's doing really good. It had a couple, but so it actually started to produce this year. This thing's just kind of become a blob, but I left it because it kind of had a little bit of protection from the sun a little bit for this guy. So what am I going to be doing? So what I did, let me try to make sure I focus in here. So what I did is I cut a path. As you can see, the yard got real overgrown can't even get back. I can get back there, but it's not pretty. So here's my strategy. I literally cut a path. I had to chop. This is my silverberry. I literally had to chop this thing because it was just so overgrown. Now these are fallow raised beds, meaning there's nothing in it but like scraps and debris. Look at my apple. Guys, this thing's a freaking beast. This thing, so the way I made my plant system, the watering and the feeding was not a problem. As you can see, the watering and the feeding was not a problem. What was a problem was this grass. Oh, and then I guess I'll talk to this about real quick too, so I can show. So these are the 3 kumquats I planted. The fukushu obviously did the best taking the heat because I planted these guys under the worst conditions. And obviously with any citrus, you make sure it's above the graft line, which they all are. But the limequat took a beating, so I chopped it back. And these are all planted at like the worst times, but they're back. I think they're doing better, which is super nice. The fukushu took a little bit of a beating, but actually did pretty decent. And then the freaking JWa took a huge beating. Now I'm actually kind of scared to look at my apple tree because now this is embarrassing to admit, but this apple had like 40 apples on it, and I wasn't able to harvest one of them because it was the sun's coming at an angle, as you can see. The apple harvest window for the golden Dorset is specific in Arizona, and I wait till the last minute, and I pretty much told Kim, I was like, hey Kim, can you harvest all these? And then I got super busy with work and other stuff, and then I would check in the freezer for something, because what we'll do is we'll harvest and we'll freeze them. I was checking the freezer for something like a month later, and I was like, hey, where are the apples? They weren't there. After that month window, the birds got them. The birds got them, or they just rotted out. So unfortunately, your boy didn't get any apples. But these apples, they taste delicious, but they don't have a good mouthfeel when you eat them fresh. But their consistency and texture is perfect for freezing. Like, you cut them, process them, like you wash them, you cut them, you core them, and then you cut them in slices. They make amazing apple pies. You just use less liquid in the pie filling because when they thaw in the oven, it'll release liquid. And if you do that, amazing apple pies. Like and I don't even skin them. I leave the skin on. Full nutrition. Beautiful. Super amazing. But I'm going all over the place. Obviously, there's so much to talk about and a lot to do. So, as you can see, I recently cut myself a path through here, and now I'm gonna kill some trees. So, who is on the chopping block in this section and why? So, obviously, first person on the chopping block, moringa. The moringa has not been doing what it should be doing this year, and I'm thinking it's because I had moles come in, and the moles are like nested in this thing before I even planted the citrus. So I killed off the moles, and then now I think this guy he would probably bounce back good next year. But I'm gonna cull the moringa because I decided when I planted all these citruses around them that I was just gonna use them for this year, and I'm gonna chop them to the ground. I'm gonna obviously chop and drop, so I'm just gonna process all the wood, use a chainsaw, get it all down here. So it's just gonna feed everybody else around, and it's gonna open up a nice space. So moringa has treated me well, but that guy's going bye-bye. Another guy's going bye-bye. Japanese burgundy plum. Really good tree. Problem is, it's just not getting cold enough for this guy to reliably flower and fruit. Been a really good tree for me, honestly, as far as like no fuss, easy tree to handle. But this guy's going bye-bye too. I'm gonna cut him, and it's gonna leave me a nice open spot right here, which is exactly what I want. Gives me more walking place. Now we come over to here. We got our Florida Prince. Florida Prince is just beastly. So beautiful, so amazing. Not gonna kill this guy. Obviously, I love peaches. Florida Prince, you are gonna do good. Now, obviously, it's one-sided because this is where all the sun is, so it's growing all to one side. Florida Prince, I love it. I'm keeping. both of these Mexican sunflowers, they go in bye-bye. And you can see here the neglected, it's like half dead, half alive. Then I can't get back there. It's hard to get back there, but effectively, see if I can do a good job. You see that? That peach, neglected peach. That's the Florida King. It's a good peach, but it essentially ripens for us at the same time the Florida Prince. And I want more mobility, so I'm literally be getting rid of that guy, and that'll open it up, and that'll give more sun to our Mexican elderberry, which is right there, that stick, because it's not getting enough sun. So I'm just gonna cull that out. It's gonna give me more walkability, and it's gonna kind of open up more sun to where I planted the Mexican elderberry. It'll be easy. And then obviously I had to cut all this down. I have the golden nugget, which I planted at the worst time, but it's still doing good. Oh, I got some bugs on me. Golden nugget planted at the worst time, still doing good. So obviously I'm gonna keep all my citrus are keeping. The mango I'm gonna let do its thing. We'll see what happens over there. I'm not gonna worry about it. Obviously my midnight Valencia, super sweet. I love it. Not gonna do anything wrong with that. Vetiver grass, super beautiful. I was using the vetiver grass to protect my persimmon. My Fuyu persimmon has now been established. So I'm culling the vetiver grass and just chop and drop it. So that'll free up that whole section right there. Walkability. Apple, obviously I'm gonna keep. I love this apple. I'm obviously gonna have to trim it way back. And then I have second apple. Ooh, almost got a little divot there. Second apple, actually not doing too bad. Really beautiful. Second apple, I really got to trim to a reasonable size. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I think I might do a hard prune on it, and I might try to get it to grow this way. So I might actually try to espalier it a little bit to get a branch to kind of go this way. I haven't decided yet. Apple's a question mark. I was disappointed with the fruit, so you know we'll see what we want to do there. But apple is definitely a question mark. And then as you can see, there's a watermelon in there, believe it or not. And then obviously you can't see down there, but that olive. Olive's great and all, but I'm not getting anything from it. The birds are eating it, which is fine, but it's taking up valuable real estate, and it's a big guy. So I'm culling that. So we got 1, 2, 3, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in this section, I got 8 plants on the chopping blocks. The apple I go back and forth on. It's a tropic sweet, but honestly, I like simplicity. So I think I'm gonna, the odds of me culling the apple are pretty high. It'll just create more airflow anyway. So yeah, so that's my game plan right now. At the end of the day, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of leave these areas open, and then eventually when I've conquered the grass, I'm going to plant ground covers that are living, so like creeping thyme, perennial peanuts, the like. But for now, I'm going to try to kind of take back control, kind of get rid of the things that just aren't doing what I want them to do. Citrus are always good for me. I love citrus. Citrus, literally with citrus alone, I can be covered for half the year. You know what I'm saying? This is the calamansi or calamondin, whatever you really want to call it. But with citrus, I'm covered half the year. Easy peasy. It really just leaves the fall. Apples, the only apples that are good are early apples. So citrus, I'm good for half the year. For fall, I'm going to have to do some brainstorming on what I want to do there. Well, there's a tropical fall, and then there's an easy non-tropical fall. What I think I'm going to do is once we get our patio done for our house, I'm pretty much going to have another strip of, like, if you look how the trees are, they're kind of all in like kind of strips, you know. I'm going to have another grow strip that I can plant one more row of trees for, or one more row of shrubs. And I think what I'm going to do is probably, just to kind of get that fall hit, is I have a Fuyu persimmon that will hit me in the fall, which is awesome. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple more persimmons, some jujubes, not the Indian green jujube, but actual deciduous jujube that I can knock back to like 2 feet every year. And then potentially Asian pears, because Kim doesn't like regular pears, so I'm thinking Asian pears. So I could do like 2 Asian pears, 3 jujubes, and like 2 persimmons, have a nice strip. The jujubes will be like in a trifold. I'll essentially treat it as one tree. And then obviously the Asian pears I could either do a multi-graft or just put them next to each other. So I won't take up too much space, but I think between those guys, I think I'll be able to cover fall fruit. I think that's going to be the strategy going forward, because as far as food for the first half of the year, between the mulberries and the citrus and the stone fruit and the palm fruit for the apples, like I'm loaded for the first half of the year, but this back half, not so much. So I got some guava, I got some persimmons. Those take a little bit to get going. So hopefully this works out. Like I said, it's been a long time. I've just been so busy, but now I'm finally kind of getting back out there now that we're at the tail end. Like the summer is always brutal, unfortunately. So I'm always the worst in the summer, but I think this will be good. I'm going to get a lot of good stuff done. And then, as you can see, I'm going to get a lot of citrus this fall and winter time. So that's super awesome. And I'm super excited about it. So I'll let you guys go here. I'm going to be doing yard work. And I think what I'm going to do is, I don't know, maybe twice a week. So like Friday, Saturday, in this case it's Sunday, so I'll do one Monday. What I'll do is I'll probably cull some trees and then maybe do a video or maybe do once a week before, and I'll show you what I did and how I cut it or something like that. I'll figure it out, but I'll show you guys the progress as I kind of work my way to reclaiming. It's really like, if you think of my yard as like a rectangle, it's really, this part's like easy to do. It's this little center part that's kind of hard to get to, and that's why I'm like, you know what, let me just free up that room and make it easier. So I'm gonna let you guys go. I've been rambling forever. Appreciate you guys. It's your boy Protagonist JWa signing out.